In this example, we want to create a scatter plot for the hours of sleep versus the math test score. And what we want to do here is we want to try to figure out which variable is the independent, which variable is the dependent. So I like to look at what the different variables are, and I like to try to say them in a sentence. So let's see. Do the hours of sleep depend on your math test score? Or is it better to say the math test score depends on how many hours of sleep that you got? To me, that second one makes a little better sense. So the math test score would depend on the hours of sleep. So this is our dependent variable, and this is our independent variable. And this will be the x then, and this will be the y. The dependent variable always goes on the y-axis. The independent will go on the x-axis. Another clue here is we're dealing with time. And time is often the independent variable. You can't really do much about it. And so look for that if you are graphing these scatter plots. Let's decide on a good scale then. And this bottom piece, I'm not sure if you can see this here. I'll try to move it up a little bit. So this bottom piece is going to be hours of sleep. We don't need to list the unit because the unit is there. It's the hours of sleep. You wouldn't need to put hours there. And let's see if we can figure out a nice scale for this. So when we figure out a scale, we need to look at a few things. One, we need to look at the lowest value. The lowest value is a 5 here. Yikes, 5 hours of sleep. And the highest value is a 10. Well, we don't really want to start at 0 then. If we start at 0, we're only going to have data from here over. We're only going to be using part of the graph. So I think we're going to introduce a break for this one. We'll use a little break symbol, kind of like this. And that means that there is a bunch of numbers here that we're going to skip over. The first number we are going to have here is going to be a 5. Then we need to decide on a nice scale. Well, 5 and 10 are 5 units apart. So let's see if we can determine what a good scale would be if we look at the number of boxes we have. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Well, if we did every box, let's see, every box would be, maybe if 4 boxes would be 1 hour. Well, let's see if that works. That would be a 6 then. If every 4 boxes is an hour, that's a 6. That'd be a 7. That'd be an 8. That'd be a 9. And we would have a 10 over here. I don't like having that last bit off the graph. It's pretty close, so you could probably do it. But let's try every 3. So let's make every 3 equal to 1 hour. So we've got 8, we've got 9, and we've got 10. And we're using most of the graph here. We've got a little piece over here that we're not going to have any data on, but that's okay. Let's talk about the x-axis now. So the the y-axis. The y-axis is this guy right here, and it's going to be the math test score. So this will be math test score. Now the math test scores, let's see what is going on with that data, and that is going to be, let's see, the lowest value. Ooh, there's a 68 right here. So the lowest value is a 68, and the highest value is 100. So we don't know if these are percentages, or maybe the test is out of 100, or what. God forbid it's out of 200, right? No one would have passed. Anyway, so we've got to go from 68 to 100. We don't want to start at 0 on this side, so I'm going to do another break here, and I'm going to start at a lower value. If we started this at, let's see here, maybe 60 or 65, that would work. And I think we've probably got about 25, that's 10, that's 15, that's 20. Yeah, we got about 25 boxes or grid lines to work with here. So the difference between these is 32, or if we went from 65 to 100, then let's see, that would be 35. Boy, it's not gelling up too well, is it? Let's do this. Let's make this 65 right here, and let's just see if we can make each grid line worth 2 points on this test. So that would mean every 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would be worth 10. So that would be a 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be an 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'd be a 95. And then 100, kind of goofy, but 100 would fit, right in there. That uses most of the graph. We're going to be using this portion of the graph. So there's just a little bit here on the edges that we're not going to see. Also, we're going to do, maybe as the title, we could do math test score versus hours of sleep. I kind of transpose these a little bit, but I think you get the picture. Okay, time to create this wonderful scatter plot. So let's see if we can reason through plotting a few of these points. I hope all that's in your viewing window. 993. Well, 9 is here, and if we go up, 93, let's see, each one is worth 2, so 93 would actually be right here on the grid line. Remember, each box is worth 2, or each grid line is worth 2. That's the scale. And so we can actually plot that 93 here. 95 minus 2 is 93. So we've got this one. I like to put a little check mark when I do it. 570. So here's 5, and then 70 would fall right there, right in the middle of 75 and 65. So we got this one. 6 and 77. So 6 right here, and then 77. Oops, not there. 77 will be right here. It's 2 more than 75. So disregard that little red dot there if you can see it. 6 and 81. So we're still on 6 here, and then 81 would be 4 positions lower, and each grid line is worth 2. 4 positions lower would be 2 grid lines from 85. 8 and 88 next. All right, 8 is here, and then 88 is going to be right in the middle. It's going to be 3 units away from 85, so it'll be right in the middle. And 9 and 91. Well, here's 9, and 91 is 4 units away from 95, so we've got that. 10 and 76. Whew! 10 and 76. All right. It's going to be right in the middle. 7 and 78. So we've got a 7, that's a 75, and then it's a 77, so 78 will be right here. 2 more to do. 6 and 68. So 6 is here, and then 68 would be right in the middle of these 2 boxes. And then 8 and 100. Ooh, 8 and then 100. Perfect score right there. Now it looks, as sleep goes up, it looks in general that the trend line is very positive, that your score also goes up as your numbers of sleep go up. This person we would consider an outlier. This piece of data is far away. We would expect this piece of data, maybe 100% or somewhere up here. It's not. So perhaps this person didn't study at all and just went to bed and got up and then just took the test. So in general, you got to prepare a little bit, but in general, the more sleep you get, it seems like the better score you get on your test. But don't sleep and not study at all. What are some things that we notice about the graph? Well, we've been kind of saying a lot of things here. So it looks like as sleep goes up, you do better on the tests. Also, it looks linear, like a straight line. It's not perfect, right? But if we were to draw a straight line right through here, those points would line up fairly close. These points don't curve if we ignore this outlier, and they don't do anything crazy like they're not just a big blob in the middle or anything. They kind of line up in a straight line almost. Does it seem like there could be a relationship between the hours of sleep and a grade on a math test? Yes. And I'll put C above if we ignore the outlier. So maybe too much sleep is a bad thing as well.